This footage was captured in El Paso, Texas on April 29, 2023. At around 4:30 a.m., a young woman can be seen running up to the front door of a house and immediately ringing the doorbell. There doesn't appear to be anyone following her, but she looks over her shoulder several times as she continues knocking on the door. The woman looks distressed and appears to be hiding from someone as she crouches down by the entrance and starts crying when nobody answers the door. A few seconds later, a car's headlights can be seen in the distance, and the woman immediately hides behind one of the front porch columns to avoid being seen. As soon as the car leaves, she continues knocking on the door, but hides behind the column once again when she sees the neighbor's driveway lights turn on. Shortly after, the reflection of a car light can be seen in the video, and the woman walks straight at it, presumably getting in the car, but this wasn't caught by the doorbell camera. The disturbing footage created a lot of speculation online after it was uploaded, with many people thinking that the young woman might have been a victim of human trafficking or an abusive relationship, and that she was just asking for help. Although those kinds of situations are unfortunately not uncommon, others believe that the woman's intentions weren't so innocent. The fact that she hides from the first car shown in the video, which could have been a police car, made a lot of people suspicious about her behavior. It's also strange how the woman walks towards the car lights at the end of the video, which suggests that this could have been a robbery attempt, and that she walked toward the car at the end to get picked up by her accomplices after they realized nobody was going to answer the door. Several viewers also commented on how strange it was that she hid from the neighbors when she saw the lights turn on, even though she was supposedly asking for help. Disturbingly, police announced less than a month after the footage was captured that they had arrested this same woman in El Paso. She was identified as 34-year-old Kristen Nicole Cordeaux, and she's currently serving time at a facility in El Paso. This chilling doorbell camera footage shows a woman in a black hoodie walking up to the front door of a house with a man wearing a face mask and some sort of lanyard standing behind her. The owner of the house could have simply talked through the Ring camera to communicate with the visitors, but he decided to open the door anyway. The woman tells him that her car broke down and asks him if she could use his phone. This used to be a very common method for burglars to get into people's houses, but asking to use somebody's landline in 2003 is a bit of an outdated robbery method, and the owner probably realized this immediately. Chillingly, as soon as the owner apologizes and closed the door, the man that was standing behind the woman charges at the front door with a gun in hand and attempts to force it open. But fortunately, the owner had locked the second door just in time. What makes this footage especially disturbing is the fact that there's a playground on the lawn, meaning that the man and woman decided to target a house where they knew there would be kids inside. Had the owner taken a second more to lock the door, he would have been the victim of an armed robbery or something much worse. Reddit user no_bookkeeper8635 uploaded this Ring camera footage with the caption, "Zombies want your brain." In the video, a young man covered in what appears to be dirt or blood attempts to break down the front door of a house by body checking it repeatedly. After slamming his body into the door 3 times, the man apparently knocks himself out after hitting his head hard and collapses over the front porch railing. He groans in pain and flails his arms, seemingly trying to get up. Most viewers attributed his uncoordinated movements and violent behavior to hard drug use, and it was even suggested that he might have had a seizure after hitting his head on the door, which would explain why he couldn't get up from the rail. But because the user didn't post any context surrounding the incident, it's impossible to know for sure. After that night, the man was never seen on the property again. On December 2nd, 2021, a Twitter user from Dallas uploaded this haunting video of a suspicious masked man standing outside the door to her apartment. The tweet read, "This is what I've been dealing with since October 31st. This man has been outside of my apartment almost every night. I have contacted everyone that I know to contact about this. What is it going to take for y'all to protect and serve?" What makes this footage so unsettling is that the man really isn't doing anything. He just stands motionless outside of her apartment, possibly waiting for her to get out. The creepy video immediately went viral, leading the woman who uploaded the footage to post an update 2 days later, in which she reassured everyone that she was safe and that she hoped the stalker would stay away. Many people who viewed the video urged her to be on the lookout and reminded her that even though it may appear that the stalker had gone, the likelihood that he would show up again was high. But since then, there have been no further updates. This doorbell cam footage shows a man in a brown cap knocking on the door of an apartment and claiming to be a police officer to try to get whoever was on the other side to open up. As soon as the man realizes that he's being recorded, his face turns into an expression of fear and instant regret, and he tries to play it off quickly by saying aloud that he was at the wrong apartment. The fact that he lied about being a police officer means that his intentions couldn't have been good, and his hope was probably that, if he ever got caught, he could at least pretend like he made a mistake by knocking on the wrong door. Whatever he was planning, this footage is a perfect example of how cameras can scare criminals away from going through with their malicious plans. This next clip was captured in April of 2020 and shows a suspicious man in a hood approaching the front door of a house, immediately trying to open it. As soon as he realizes it's locked, he rings the doorbell and doesn't even bother covering his face from the camera as he waits for the owner to open the door. The best thing to do in these situations is to try to see who's at the door before opening it, especially if you have a doorbell camera and a random stranger knocks on your door in the middle of the night. But in this case, the owner opened the door pretty quickly, and the man immediately lets himself into the house. It's hard to make out what exactly the hooded man is saying, but his slow, confused speech suggests he might be under the influence of something, and the homeowner immediately asks him to leave. Fortunately, the owner manages to push him out just in time, because right as the door closes in his face, the man becomes instantly violent and punches the door. He tries to force it open a few more times, but luckily, the door was already locked. It's unclear if the man was ever identified by police. This footage was captured by a doorbell camera in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the early morning hours of April 9th, 2023. A woman is shown trying to get into the house by using multiple different keys. The confused, distant expression on her face and the fact that the clip was recorded around 3 a.m. suggest that she might have been intoxicated or possibly on drugs, but it hasn't been confirmed whether this was actually the case. Her actions seem mechanical, and at one point in the video, the woman tries to insert the key directly into the doorbell camera. The homeowner claimed that he had never seen this woman before and that this had happened while he was asleep. He woke up the next day to this terrifying footage, and he also reported that after failing to get into the house, the woman started throwing rocks at his car and attempted to force open the doors multiple times. In the end, she walked away, and the homeowner never saw her again.